Welcome everybody to a brand new video on my channel today. Today's video is going to be very off topic to what I usually talk about. Today's video is on Dispatch. And yes, I know I'm a Fortnite channel, but with Dispatch being so popular right now and the finale just coming out, I had to talk about this game because of how great it is. Now, before we begin anything, I want to make this very clear. This first part of the video will be a non-spoiler review, and then I will be getting into spoilers. So, for anyone who's just here for the normal review of the game, stick around and enjoy. And for those who want to hear my thoughts and feelings about characters at the end, stick around. And let's begin. So, this game is basically a Telltale game made from a company that had a bunch of old people from the old Telltale company that got unfortunately bankrupt a few years ago and created this new company. Dispatch is about a guy who loses his suit and has to go into a dispatch work in order to fix it. And honestly, it's a really great game. It really brings back the vibe of the old Telltale games. The choices, the story, the characters, they all mash up into one really cool story that honestly did not have a single bad episode. Going into this, I really didn't think I'd enjoy this because I thought it'd just be another Telltale game, and I was really wrong. Dispatch is, in my opinion, a game of the year game. I have not seen this much amazing talent and visuals and graphics and voice acting in a long time, and every week was just so much fun. It was like watching a TV show, but also getting to interact with it at the same time. And the characters, they just nailed every single one. There was not one character that I did not hate or thought was rushed or thought was underused. Well, I say that, but there are maybe one or two characters that I wasn't the biggest fan of, but the rest were perfect. The animation, perfect. This game was really well animated. Everything felt smooth. There were no points in the game where I thought, this feels weird or rushed. Of course, it's a Telltale game, so options you do pick will overlap, and if you don't know what a Telltale game is, then I suggest you go find out. There are points in the story that, are a bit strange, and choices that you make could have been handled better, but then again, it's a big game, and all the options you make are important. And I just think an amazing voice cast like this, it just made the game so much better. Like, honestly, I could not recommend this game more. Like, I really hope they make a season 2 because this game really deserves it. The heroes in this story are really cool. The jokes are funny. The villain is great. The overall romance part it's all right. I'll explain why later, but it's really good. It is handled well, depending on choices. But what else? You see, the episodes are, a good pace. They don't take up too much time, and also the dispatching bit. Honestly, really fun concept. We don't really see that in much video games, so honestly, it was a nice fresh pace of entertainment. It's not just dialogue after dialogue after dialogue, cutscene, dialogue, choice, dialogue, choice. What the old Telltale games used to do. This, you actually have to dispatch your team to save people, which honestly is really cool, and I really hope other games like this take advantage of this and see that it's not just the cutscenes that need to be good, it's also the gameplay. And for what a Telltale game this is, it's great. The gameplay is great, and honestly, I just, like I said, I can't recommend this game enough. It's really good. To be perfectly honest, there's nothing else I can say right now that I can't say that wouldn't spoil the next rest of the game. So, to be honest, I'm going to wait a second and let all the people who don't want to be spoiled leave. Come back when you've played the game. And yeah, we'll give it a second. We'll wait for all those people to go who don't want to be spoiled. Alright, I think that's enough time. If you're still here, it's clear you want to hear my thoughts and opinions on this game. And straight up, the romance in this game is rigged. It is very clear from the developer's side which romance option you're supposed to have, and they do not make it, like, obvious which one you're supposed to go for. But when I saw this trailer, I knew I was going with Blonde Blazer, aka Maddie. Like, I just knew I was picking her. That wasn't a debate in my mind. I don't care what obstacles they were going to throw at me. I don't care what choices I was going to make. It was going to be Mandy 100%. I was going in this her. She was my locked on romance choice, and that was it. That was me set. And then we get introduced to our second romance option, Invisigal, aka Courtney. And I'm going to be perfectly honest, she's a great character, but she is a terrible hero with zero redeemable qualities. And yeah, I'm going to get flamed alive for this, but let me explain to you how not to make a romance choice. In this game, in the beginning of the game, spoilers by the way, very big spoilers, she attaches a bomb to your mech because she's working for the villain Shroud because she has asthma, and they give her a device that basically amplifies it and makes it better. In return, she plants a bomb in your suit, blows it up, and this is because Shroud wants the astral pulse because, you know, he wants it to, I guess, gain more knowledge. I think that's what he wants. He kind of just says he just wants to make the world a better place, but classic villain monologuing, I guess. You know, he wants it because he's evil, but also because he's really smart and he'll amplify his brain or something along those lines. And yeah, she plants a bomb on the thing, but after that moment she quits and joins the Phoenix program. And already that's just like, yeah, she's already regretting her actions, but by the end of the game you find out she's still working for Shroud and that she actually gets double the paycheck, so not really a heroic thing because she was still being paid. She was basically the spy and she didn't deny the money. Like, there was no dialogue saying she never denied the money because Shroud straight up tells us, oh yeah, she gets double the paycheck. So they make it very clear that she is 100% being paid by him. And obviously throughout the game she's made as our love interest. We're meant to fall in love with her, and most people did after episode 4 because of that interesting scene that we got in the beginning of the game. And to be honest, let's be real, if that scene wasn't in the game, would we have all fallen for her? No. I generally think that scene is the reason many people fell for her. But obviously because of other reasons, but I believe that's a main factor. But the problem with Invisigal is her qualities and choices are straight up terrible as a romance option. She is just a terrible character. And let me explain why. If you don't pick her, by the way, if you choose to go with Mandy, she goes full villain route. She becomes a villain. And what's worse of it, in one of the episodes, you're having a house party to celebrate your house party, I guess. And if you're with Mandy, you dance with her, and Invisigal sees this, and she obviously is very upset by this. And then in episode 7, she tries to advance on you, knowing full well you are with Blazer. And if you reject her, she becomes a villain. No, straight up, she becomes a villain. If you then get to a point in the game where she's tied up by Royd, one of our engineers, great character by the way, an absolute chad of this game. If you untie her, she still turns evil. She still kills Shroud, by the way. She kills Shroud and takes his mask. insinuating that she's going to be the next villain of the game. So if you don't pick Invisigal as your love interest, she becomes evil. That is not how you write a love protagonist. You don't write them to the point where you have to pick them so she doesn't turn evil. You also don't have them try and still be with the character when they know full well they're with another character. But also with the fact that she endangered Chase, also the basically mentor to our main character Robert, who is Mecha Man. Forgot to mention that. He is the main character in this. And he's probably gone through life through hell because his dad was never there. And let's not get into that. Go play the game if you want to find out about Robert. But basically, if you don't pick Invisigal, if you want to be with Mandy, then guess what? You've turned her into a villain. And that's probably setting up for season 2. But that's, in my opinion, boring because you're basically not giving us the option to set up the next villain. If you be with Invisigal, you can either choose to spare Shroud or kill him, which I would just kill him. Like, I just killed him. Like, there wasn't a doubt in my mind. I made a promise saying I was going to kill him, so that wasn't going to change. Like, I strangled that man to death, and that was it. No regret. But yeah, in this game, there are multiple choices you can make, multiple decisions, and she makes all the wrong ones. She sabotages, she gets people in danger, she gets a person injured on her first job and just acts like it was nothing, and then punches Robert for calling her out. And then if you go to the movies with her, she then suddenly falls in love with you. And not only that, if you send her, after she goes for the astral pulse, she actually pockets it. Now, yes, she did it to protect Robert and didn't tell him. But why didn't she just give it to him after he got captured? Now, yes, obviously he gets it back and uses it to power the mech up, which is good. But it just feels like she makes so many bad choices to the point where, is it even, like, does she deserve to be redeemed? And then it makes the character or the player feel bad for turning her into this villain. I did not feel bad because she did this to herself. You reject her and she goes full-blown villainy. Yes, he's probably upset that you've rejected her, but then she goes full-blown villainy. That's not a romance option, that's a choice, a forced option you're being forced into. You are being forced to pick this character, or she turns evil. Now, yes, I'm happy they get together, and if you pick her and you end up being with her, that's fine, that's great, but it's how we end up being with her is the problem. But it's also the problem is if you want to go with Blombazer, there is a consequence for that. But if you're with Invisigal, there is no consequence. Like, you don't receive any problems if you date her, but you do receive problems if you date Blombazer. And that just feels odd to me. But enough about the romance options, because, to be honest, if Season 2 comes out and this problem continues, then I will probably call this out in the next game. I'm just really hoping it doesn't go the way I'm hoping or thinking it will, where she becomes the villain because you rejected her. Now, that's obviously going to happen, but I hope she just doesn't turn fully evil and it's just a anti-hero. I'm hoping that's the case, but we'll have to see, won't we? Because there's no doubt in my mind we'll get Season 2. Let's move on to the villain, Shroud. He did not appear much, and when he did, he was menacing as hell. Like, this guy was menacing to the core. I think his superpower is just being incredibly smart and being able to predict everything. He worked with Robert's dad, got him killed, wanted the astral pulse to power himself, owns a gang called the Red Ring, where he advances people with superpowers with technology. It's a really cool gang, and to be honest, I feel like it should be considered more of a threat than it is in the game. They're just talked about as they're lowly gangsters with superpowers. And it's only at the end where they start to be a real threat. But I feel like super enhanced super beings or super criminals would be taken more seriously, you know? But I guess not. Shroud is a great villain. I do wish we learned more about him. I know there's like comic stuff about him, but why should I have to read a comic to find out about this villain? Like, that just feels a bit weird that I have to learn about this guy through a comic book and not through the game. But then again, you gotta market it somehow, so touche, I guess. Continuing on from that, Shroud's a great villain. The design, the voice, the motivation, it's all great. Motivation maybe a bit better, but if you choose to spare him, he will probably appear in the next game, probably as a prisoner you can go talk to about Invisigal, if she becomes the main villain of the next game based on your choices. I just feel like if you kill him, you've basically made Invisigal a villain, and if you don't kill him, there's the option for him to return, which I'm hoping they don't do because he's had his time in the spotlight. And if they do have him return, have it be a good return, because I just don't want to have a repeat villain after we already, beat him the first time. But yeah, Shroud's a great villain, great powers, really intimidating. Honestly, I can't say enough great things about him. He's a great villain. Just there are things that can be improved. I'm not criticizing or nitpicking. I'm just saying things that could be improved because nothing's perfect. Like, although the game's a 10 out of 10 in my book, there are obviously things that can be improved, and I found a bit strange. And obviously, everyone will see it differently than I will because that's why it's called an opinion, and we should respect that. Now, let's move on to the Z team. These guys are just incredible. These guys are the funniest people ever. This is what the Suicide Squad should have been. And to be honest, every member is funny. Getting two YouTubers to voice them, incredible idea. And yeah, people are going to say, oh, it's just like you brought them in because they're well recognized. Yeah, and guess what? They nailed the characters perfectly. Sonar and Jacksepticeye and Punch Up and Moist Critical, they all voiced their characters incredibly. They're perfect voice actors for these guys. You can argue otherwise, but Sonar and Punch Up, incredible. Flammable. Bit on the rough side. He's a bit of annoyance, I guess. They're alright, I guess. Waterboy, Phenomenon, Dazzler, I think one of her name is. I genuinely forgot. She's great, but I just can't turn it. Malevolent, obviously the Demon Lady. She's a great character. They're all great characters. They all had their time in the spotlight to shine, especially in that finale. They all got their one-liners. They all got something to do. It was just great. They're all great. Honestly, every week I would go into this just loving to hear the banter between them, the jokes and all that. It was honestly just perfect. Like, a great team of Z teamers, and the fact that they all come together as a family at the end is just perfect. Like, I know I've said this a lot and I'll continue to say it throughout this video, but love them all. Overall, I think this game is a 10 out of 10. It should be Game of the Year. It should get a Season 2. The plot, the story, I know there's the same words, but point is, everything in this game is perfect. Like, I cannot find any reason to hate it except for the romance part. But I don't hate the romance part, I just think it's weird. Don't hate it, just find it weird. Blonde Blazer for life, because that's how I'll be going into the next game. Because obviously, if there is a Season 2, your choices will matter into Season 2, and I will be sticking with Blazer. That is just me. I do think it would have been cool if we got more romance options, but then again, most of the characters here, like Malevolent, I'm pretty sure she's with Sonar, or they're just good friends. I think they were setting up to be more than friends, but who knows. Point is, this game is just perfect in every way see or fit. The cast did amazing. The game developers did incredible. Honestly, it's just a great game. I honestly think that I wish we got more episodes. I genuinely wish we did. But I can't wait to see if this gets a season 2, then I'm definitely playing it. And honestly, it would probably, after the success of this game, they would be absolute fools not to do a season 2. But we'll see, won't we? This game has rose a new generation. It started a war between the community, which we always love to see, and it just was an incredible experience. And honestly, I recommend you go play the game for yourself. But that's really it. I hope you've enjoyed my take on the game, my opinions. I honestly would love to hear your thoughts on the game in the comments. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you all in my next Fortnite Theory. Goodbye.